Welcome to another episode of Day One Radio right here on Live Hip Hop Daily. We appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all listening through our media partners at CLNS Media up there in Boston, man. You know what we do here. We always come to you with stories that haven't been told, or stories that haven't been told correctly. So I could not have my brother come to town and not have him on the show. And we've been chopping it up trying to get Glasper on here for a minute, man. So I just want to welcome Terrace Martin and Robert Glasper.
Yes,
R+R equals now.
Peace, man, pal.
We out here.
Yeah, man.
We
So
out here.
obviously, we got to get into the business, man. Album dropping today. It's been a lot of buzz around it. Is it R and R plus R?
R+R.
R+R equals now,
It's
which
the equation.
is reflect and respond.
Yes.
Equals now.
Exactly.
You look like you're happy that I knew that, and I just
Nice.
So,
Man, you got your stuff together.
oh,
man.
come on, bro.
You know what I mean?
You already know what it is, man.
Can we cuss on this? Or
Of
no?
course, do your
Okay,
thing,
cool.
bro.
Shit.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna cuss for no reason now.
That shit seems so stressful.
I know when you don't.
Like,
I did the radio interview. I cussed all over that joint for about 30 seconds, and they were like, you can't cuss on this show." I was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, that's wild. So obviously, we were chopping it up earlier. The joint came from Nina Simone, reflecting and responding. There's a lot of things that are going on in our society. Y'all touch on from love to the women to everything. So how does this album reflect and how does it respond? And obviously we know how it's relevant because you're talking about what's going on. But
Right.
What is the reflection and what is the response in the tracks on the album?
Well, a lot of that was really the making of the album. So, in the studios where we made all the music, that's literally where we came up with the music, where we wrote the music. Everything you hear on the record is one take.
Wow.
So there was nothing that we pre-made before we got to the studio and knew it already. So most of the songs you hear, we wrote them in the studio. Well, not even most, all of them we wrote in the studio. And then some of the songs extend to longer, they get long at the end and go into something, morph into something else,
Right.
because we're reflecting and responding to each other musically. You know what I mean? So that stuff was made up on the spot, and we just kept it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really like how we are as a band, how we are as a people with each other, reflecting and responding, and that equaled the product that you have.
And the lengthening of the song, that's the jazz in both of y'all, because you ain't getting 9-minute songs in no other genre.
Exactly. And some of the joints are so long, we made the second part into another track.
Okay. Yeah.
Because some of them were actually longer, you know what I mean? But we named it and just named it another track. But when you listen to it, it's continuous.
Gotcha.
Somebody might start an idea, and then we all just jump on it and do something with it, and we just reflect and respond and go from there.
Gotcha.
Because the backwards now spelled backwards is one, and you win when you reflect and respond.
That was deep. Look at him. He had to hit the pose on y'all on that one. Man, and I feel like I'm a pretty well-read and learned cat, and I had to look up Collogical and still never quite figured it out.
I made that word up.
Oh God, it had to be that.
Collogically.
Collogically.
I made it up.
Because I was like, bro, I've never heard collogical in my life. So what does collogically speaking mean?
So when you listen to this, it has so many different parts to it that we put together. It was like a quilt to me. It was like a collage.
Okay.
So at first I was going to name it something with the word collage. But then I was like, collogically speaking in the term of a collage. So it's just a lot of stuff coming at you. You know what I mean? But it fits together like a collage. It's one picture, but it's a lot of stuff coming at you as one picture. So collogically speaking, I was like, I like that better.
Okay. All right. I like that. You got to trademark that.
Come on.
Why not?
It is trademarked now. The record's out.
Yeah.
That's technically trademarked, Vinny?
I got to ask him.
I asked my manager.
Probably Universal. Oh, damn. That means we can't even drop the snippets of the song in on the interview because Universal be tripping on the podcast heavily. Y'all make sure that y'all go and stream that joint.
Right.
Make sure you buy
We got to beatbox the songs.
Right.
Now. We got
Are y'all doing physical copies too?
Yes. We're
Dope,
doing physical
dope.
copies, right? Yep.
Dope.
You have to be physical.
Yeah. So why Atlanta for the launch of the album?
It's the people, man. It's I wanted it to be where the people are and where us is, where us be. You know what I mean? Where us be, and you know, I like the vibes here.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I love the vibes here, and you know, we love playing for our people, especially.
No
you know
doubt.
what I mean? So this is one of them places where you definitely gonna get that.
So if you're listening in real time, Variety Playhouse, y'all are doing 2 shows tonight.
7:30 and 10:30. Yeah.
7:30 and 10:30. That's big, man.
Yeah.
That's real big, and that's a great venue too. I
Yep.
saw Kamasi there a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he killed that joint.
Yes,
So that's
indeed.
what's up. I know, Terrace, you probably wanted to do it in Oakland.
Always. That's my favorite city, next to LA in the world.
Yeah, for sure, most definitely. How did y'all meet? Because I know I got hip to you and him separately as far as musically is concerned, but I know whenever I would talk to Terrace, especially about music, your name would come up somehow, whether y'all were working on some Polyseed stuff or working on your solo stuff or whatever. How did y'all actually meet at some point in life and click?
At a jazz camp.
Okay.
Like back in the 90s. I don't know if they still have those jazz camps now. But
Somewhat of them.
Somewhat of them?
Yeah, somewhat.
that's where these, people get together. It's kind of strange now. Everybody gets together and has these random kids come out together and they play while all the old people just look at them. And they not. But it's a jazz camp, and it pulled all the different kids from different places together, from the West Coast, East Coast, the South, and everything, and pulled the kids who they felt were worthy of being in this place of other great jazz musicians that could,
Right.
invest in. So they flew us all out to a spot in Vail,
11th
Colorado.
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1996.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Vail, Colorado.
Yep.
Me, Robert,
Keon.
Brandon, a few other cats, but and they put us all together, and it was a group of kids, but it was deep because they didn't really assemble who would be with who. Everybody just jammed. I remember the day everybody just played together like a blues, and through that blues, everybody figured out who was going to kind of be. Everybody figured out through that conversation who they could fuck with on the rest of this fucking trip.
Right.
Like I knew who I couldn't fuck with. I knew the way this dude played. I ain't fucking with him.
Right.
I knew the way this whatever play. I just knew but his conversation was very similar to my conversation.
That's not surprising. So you've always been like, because there's a lot of people you don't fuck with.
Yeah, I'm fucking with a lot of people. I've been fucking with the same people my whole career. I've been fucking with the same guitarist. This Robert, I've been fucking with everybody, the same people, yo. I've had some new energy come in and out, but it's just I just feel like my crew is humbly speaking. I feel we've practiced so hard and worked so hard that we're just at a certain level to where I just don't want to mix our shit with everybody right now.
I can feel that, most definitely. The jazz camp thing you brought up is super interesting because they taking all like creativity out of schools other than sports because sports makes money for the schools. So how do kids now get introduced to instruments and introduced to the fundamentals of music if it's not in public schools?
It's hard. It's the internet. If they go on there and you have to really have a love for it. You can no longer. It's hard to just stumble across it, really. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of gotta. It's for me, I was lucky. My mom was a musician. So I had that in the house. She had band practice in the house. There was bass and drums and guitars and saxophone players, trombone players in my house. You know what I mean? When I went to a performing arts high school where they had bands, jazz band, this and that. So if you don't have it, it's up to people like me and Terrace and Kamasi and Christian Scott and Kendrick Scott and Derrick Hodge and Taylor McFerrin, all these different people to put out music using live instruments. You know what I mean? And representing live instruments so they can see it's cool and see where the origin of the music they love comes from. You know what I mean? So that's why I love to record with real live musicians. You know what I mean? To try to keep that in the mix.
Man, you know what's deep though was real fucked up about the schools. And just to keep it 100, like they don't even let you give instruments to the schools no more.
That's crazy.
Like, they don't, especially in South Central LA and in East Logan or any black community, they don't even let you give instruments no more. Like, you can't even, you have to go through so much to say, I want to donate 100 instruments to a school. They don't play it like that. They just don't want music in those black schools because it calms some kids down. It brings another level of intelligence, all kind of shit. Crime rate go up. They go out the house. Police shut them down. Gentrified, everybody move in. South Central become Beverly Hills. And that's just the whole plan. So that's why they take music out the shit, in my opinion. Like, you can't even, and then you go to companies like a lot of different, I can't say the different names, everybody got business with different people, but you go to different companies and you be like, yo, I want to do a fundraiser for Compton High. I'll play for free, blah, 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 blah. I'll advertise, spend my money, do this. I just need you to donate 20 of your student model instruments to this school. I got an idea, and that'll also help you promote if we give them blah, blah, blah. Right. And they say this, or we could give them student discounts. I said, this the city of Compton. How are they gonna pay for it? Right. That's another conversation.
Right. No, but that's real. I mean,
but this album is about that too. This album is all about all that shit. It's just, to me, it feel like everything. That's what's cool about this album. It feel like everything we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it covers every ground of, to me, happiness, to sadness, to light, to dark. It covers every ground of life that we go through as a people, and I'm sure through that other people go through.
Is there a certain freedom that y'all, both of y'all foundations for the most part is jazz? Is there a certain freedom that jazz musicians have that most other musicians don't have? Because I feel like you couldn't put together this kind of group in other genres and say we gonna go in for 4 or 5 days and knock out an album and it actually happen and it actually be good and it be promoted. It'll be like, oh, we did it, I'm on to my solo work.
Right.
Is there a freedom in that?
That's Robert doing that 4 days shit though. That's
Robert. I've been in the studio with you when you were. I know you in particular.
Yeah, that's Robert doing that 4 day shit. That's Robert 4 days done. The first take shit. Yeah. All that.
Yeah, I know that.
I love that.
That's him.
Yeah, that's my joint. I love that shit. I've always been like that, but all my albums, I mean, really, you can go back to from my very first album I've ever did, Mood, in 2002. Right. If you go from that to now, you can probably count the amount of extra takes I've had on 2 hands.
Wow. That's crazy.
From all my records. Like, literally, I rarely do second takes.
Why?
Because the first take for me always just, the spirit of it means something to me. Because I've gotten more from people saying, hey man, the feel of your music got me through. The feel of your music stopped me from committing suicide. The feel of your music, me and my husband had our baby to your music. It's all about the feel. Nobody says, I didn't kill myself because your solo was amazing. You know what I mean? Right. Your solo, you played so fast, it made me feel so good. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? It's really the feeling. I've kept takes that have, well, I'm not even happy with my solo, but the feeling was so strong. I kept it because it was honest, and I'm more about the honesty than anything. So that's why the first take is always the most honest take. You know what I mean?
That's what I think is amazing about what you got. What? Why you laugh? What happened? Inside joke.
We always try to bar each other.
Oh, okay.
We try to bar each other with the deepest answer.
Hilarious. Nah, but on some real shit, I feel like, but that's why.
That motherfucker said honest.
Oh, yeah.
That's why people, I think, are gravitating towards what you guys are doing. Like, there was a long time where people were only paying attention to jazz music that had come out 30, 40 years ago.
100%.
Or Kenny G.
Yeah.
But, like, I can ask a girl.
Kenny G.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
KG, for sure.
Whatever, man.
Shit.
Understand. We've had this. We don't agree. We've had this.
It was not about agreeing. It's not about agreeing. Look, one of the reasons why I play jazz, honestly, is because of Kenny G.
That's his favorite song.
One of my favorite songs. No, honestly, because look, when I played clarinet in junior high school, right? 6th grade. Junior high school, I played clarinet. I heard Kenny G before I heard John Coltrane. What station
Right,
is playing
yeah,
John Coltrane?
Right.
So, you know
That's
what I mean?
real.
So Kenny G really is a stepping stone to help people who don't know about jazz, to help them understand a little bit what it is. Oh, he's playing the melody of a song. Now he's taking a solo. Now he's playing the melody again. You know, it kind of helps you get ready for a Charlie Parker or a Wayne Shorter. You know what I mean? Because Kenny can actually play. He actually can play. But that was one of my first introductions to jazz. And I tried to play a Kenny G with my clarinet up in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And it's a lane. The lane is smooth jazz. They call it what it is. And he was good at that lane.
Yo, and I fuck with Kenny G because in the late 80s when crack cocaine was crazy in South Central, my mama always played Kenny G. She always played Kenny G. So my thing, anything that calmed that era down in my life, it's soothing music.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And everybody that hate on Kenny G ain't sold the records Kenny G sold.
That's true. I don't like smooth jazz, period.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it doesn't.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but for the person who doesn't listen to jazz at all, it's definitely...
it's a gateway.
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like a lot of different hip hop right now, too.
That's a whole nother conversation.
True that.
What I was going to say was I feel like, but what's dope is that there is a feeling. Whether you take one take or you're super meticulous with it. Like, I feel like anybody that can convey energy without vocals,
Yep.
like, that's special. That's special. A gift.
Yeah, 100%. That's harder. It's so hard because it's not obvious.
Yeah.
If I'm playing something, you have to figure out that I'm playing about love, and I'm playing about we broke up, and I'm playing that I want to fuck, and I'm playing all these different things.
Yeah.
If I'm a singer, I can just say, "Baby, I'm sorry,"
Right.
and you get it. You know what I mean? But we have to literally express it musically, which means you have to kind of be a pretty goddamn good musician to do that, because it's harder to do than singing. That's why singers, most of them suck.
True. What was the energy like recording this album? Because y'all touch on some heavy stuff, but then there's some fun stuff too.
Yeah.
How did it feel during the process?
Oh, this is some cool shit. I smoked a lot of weed during the process, man. So I was just like a vessel for the art, man. I was just taking whatever whatever come. Every moment was different.
Our process too. Like the way I love to record, I love to take my time. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of the people that's like, okay, we did that song. Okay, let's do another take just to have it. Let's go. All right, let's go and do the next song. You know, that's why I like to take a block of time. I'll take five. I know I don't need that much time with especially with the cats I get. I know what we can do, so we chill hard. We was watching the All-Star situation more than recording, because it was during the All-Star weekend when we recorded.
And the sessions in the evening time.
And the sessions, we wait and play sessions in the evening time.
Fruit, vegetables, candy, good food,
liquor.
Laughing, family, liquor.
Friends coming in and out. Yeah. Because when you play music, we normally play it at night.
Right.
So we try to make ourselves comfortable and do what we normally do. Most people, when they do a record, they do everything they do. They do everything unnatural. They go in the morning because they want to save time and do all these things, but your body's not acclimated to that. Nobody plays jazz at 9 a.m. unless you're doing some kind of random ass corporate gig.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we get there, we chill, we hang out, we talk, we think about stuff. You know what I mean? And then when we're ready, y'all ready? Want to try one? Boom. We'll try one. You know what I mean? And that's why the first takes can come out great, because we let it naturally happen. You know what I mean? And like I said, friends come in and out, you know, hanging out, and it's a vibe.
Speaking of that, you guys have, a few guests there, some poetry, some singing, some conversation, some rapping.
Yeah.
How did you kind of choose who would be on the album? Like,
They
Amari
came through.
Hardwick, like I knew Amari did poetry. He does a gang of shit that people don't know about outside of acting. When I first heard him come in, he sounded like Big Rube at first.
Oh, right.
But then he got into his groove. So how did they just came through
Amari,
shows?
I produced a few. He has an album coming out soon.
Okay.
And I produced maybe 4 or 5 joints on it.
Okay.
On his album. So I've been knowing him for a few years now, 2 or 3 years, I think. So that was separate. Everybody else pretty much just rolled through the session.
Yeah.
And it was a fluid thing. It wasn't thought about. Terry Crews is on it.
Yeah.
Because we were just talking, and I was like, "I'm gonna be in LA," and he's a fan of the music. His wife plays piano, you know.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, and man, he's an amazing visual artist too. He's a deep cat. Deep cat. So he came by. Him and his wife came by just to hang out. Him and his wife, Don Cheadle, his wife. Guapale came through.
Oakland.
Stolly came through. These are all people on the album.
Buddy came through.
Who was Buddy?
You don't know Buddy?
I don't know Buddy.
Oh, damn.
Dude, all of them. Yeah, so it was most of the people that were there, you know, in the vibe. It was just like,
got you. Yeah, the Stolly thing surprised me for sure.
yeah, he was just there.
Yeah.
I saw him. We went to a Dave Chappelle party the night before, All-Star Weekend shit. Went to Dave Chappelle party. We sat in and played stuff, hung out, and Stolly was there. And I hadn't seen him in a minute because we rocked together before a few years ago.
Right.
He jumped on stage with me somewhere. I forgot where he was. So I was like, yo, follow to the studio and hang out. You know, once we hit this one thing, you saw him on the side, like, and I was like, go into the booth, man. You know, he just went in and just rocked it.
And it was dope. It was super dope.
Yeah.
Both of y'all, you know, started out straight ahead jazz cats, which you both produce and write other genres of music. Was there ever any time?
I didn't start off.
We started off in church.
Well,
Yeah, nobody started off
you
like
know,
that.
when people knew of your work, for the most part. But I know, obviously, your foundation.
Well, they need to know that, though. The foundation was church,
Church, for sure. Every black musician's foundation is church.
Well, we hope that's not true, but a lot. Unfortunately, in the jazz world, it's not true.
Really?
In the jazz world, most musicians are not from church. In the jazz world, yeah.
Because damn near everybody I know who plays personally, especially if they play drums or keys, started in church.
But if you're really a true straight-ahead jazz musician, most of them are not from church.
Gotcha.
Not cats that think they play a little jazz.
Gotcha.
But a true straight-ahead jazz musician, most of them are not from church.
Do you guys...
my shit is church and gangster shit. I didn't play instruments till I was 13 years old.
That's not late.
It's late, really.
In jazz, it's late. But that ain't late for normal people.
Yeah, in jazz, it's late. When I tell people I didn't play piano until 12, when I tell people I didn't play piano until 12,
they look at you
especially for piano, because you're supposed to start at 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I guess it does sound young now, but I was behind.
Yeah. Especially if you sound like me, then you really think I started at 2, because that's Prodigy started at 2. But I started at 12.
Humble brag.
I'm humble. Look, my gift come from God. I didn't ask for this.
Hey, I feel
I'm
it.
just a
I
vessel.
feel it. Do you guys ever, like, but from some of the OGs or whatever, do y'all ever get flack, or have you ever gotten flack for the other creative things that you do outside of jazz?
They try to, yeah. You know what I mean? But when I can still do my creative stuff and come back and still top the charts and do number 1 jazz albums,
right?
Or do number 1 jazz albums that are number 1 on the jazz charts, and that same exact album is number 1 on the urban AC charts, and that same exact album is in the top 10 on the R&B charts and R&B hip hop charts. What do you want?
Nah, that's real.
You know what I mean? Like, if I can come back to what you say, you know, if I'm doing it well, what can you say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can see if I was doing, a lot of people tried to say, oh, you're doing it for the money. It's not like if you just do hip hop all of a sudden you start making money. You got to be good at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you have to work at it, and you have stuff that you don't just cross over and be like, you just did it for the money. Like everybody could just cross over. It takes work and years. You know what I mean? I've been trying to do this crossover stuff for a year. A lot of people think I came here in black radio in 2011.
Right.
I've been crossing over music since 1998. Literally, me and Bilal in college at little cafes in Brooklyn, like doing hip hop meets jazz shows where there's 3 people in the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing it for a long time, but it just took its course, and it had to catch up. You know what I mean? But it's a real thing. And I tell old people all the time, I'm like, you know, I'm of the hip hop generation. You're not. I'm supposed to represent my generation.
100%.
I'm not supposed to represent your generation.
Right.
When you're doing jazz because that was what was in your generation. Yeah. So you're doing what you're supposed to do. You don't have to like it, but respect what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't like a lot of the rap now, but I respect that it's changing. Yeah. I respect that it's moving. You know what I mean? It's like I always say, music is like a kid. You know, you can't you want your kid to stay 5 years old, but the motherfucker's gonna be 30. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can't do nothing about it. So you gotta let him grow and let it change and let it do what it's gonna do.
Nah, that's 100% correct.
Like that
Got
little,
you 2-0, bro.
that little child analogy right there.
Yeah, you got to come back with something. He got you 2-0. He got you so far. So how did y'all keep the ego situation out of it? Because in order to get to this point, like, you have to have some kind of an ego. And
100%.
everybody on the album is dope as fuck in what they do.
Right.
For sure. So how do y'all keep the ego out and be able to create?
We've always, I know for a fact, this group, I put these cats together because they're the best at what they do, but there's no ego when it comes to the music. Like, we do this all the time. Me and Terrace are assholes. We have egos out of this world. You know what I mean? Yeah. We always have Grammy battles and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to the music, we're like the Golden State Warriors. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we pass the ball. We love passing the ball. We do whatever it takes to make the situation as honest and open as possible. You know what I mean? Right. And which is the win. You know what I mean? So there's literally no ego with these guys at all when it comes to that.
You spoke about charting and all of that stuff. What is success for an album like this? What does success look like for an album like this? It's your turn to have a deep answer.
This is a nice one for a deep answer too.
He threw you down.
This is a nice one. It's in the air.
That was stuff to JaVale.
Man, look, just to keep it real, I mean, what I feel like success is for this album, you know, as long as it helps people, you know. It helps people. It helps people deal with life. Real shit. It just helps people deal with life. And if we could just inspire people, that's kind of to me, that's the level of success. That's the guarantee that I would like to always fulfill, you know. And whatever happens after that, happens after that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Nah, that makes sense. What you say? 2-1? 2-1?
No. No, but really, but that is
yeah.
That is the that's why we did it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we do music. You know, I mean, all the benefits are cool and all the awards and the whatever, but I think it's just, you know, it feels good to come to a city and know that people are really listening.
Yeah. And
feeling your music, because the people that come to our shows, or no matter what, you know, these are like, sometimes I met people in relationships, people struggling with depression, all these things. So I think people come to these particular shows that are part of this thing or that will gravitate to this that are like that would like to have aid and don't know where to go to, but maybe listening to a record and feeling like you could channel your inner self through the record.
Most definitely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been in that situation.
Hell yeah.
And that's why we love Tupac.
I mean, I think essentially that's, other than, you're right.
That's why we love Tupac.
Other than the entertainment factor, that's why people listen to music.
That's the only, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't exactly that. I already said don't exactly that. That's my shit.
Don't
exactly that shit.
He said it. He said
exactly. Because he wanted to, you know. When you try to describe, he gonna be in there with me.
Man, look, just because it's 2-0, man, you're getting a little edgy. You know what I'm saying? Get a little edgy. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all are wild, bro. Y'all are definitely wild.
Like, cornrows came out, he got all like
right. This is
LA
LA
shit, when you have this knitted hat on.
Yeah. It's LA shit, man. That's how I go, man. For sure. Is this a one-off situation, or will we see? Because I don't feel like we're gonna have way more shit to talk about over these next few years. So
sure.
Do y'all see yourself going back in and doing more? Because people need this.
I do. And you know what's funny? I really feel like for this album, we didn't, you know, with the amount of musicianship in this band, most people would, you know, for months be ready to write the cool stuff. You know what I mean? I got to write the cool stuff. This band, I got to write the cool stuff. We didn't come from that angle at all. You know what I mean? It was literally, let's get in there and let's pour our hearts out and let's see where it takes us. There's a lot of slow songs.
Yeah.
We'd rather play that. Honestly, like we're so just giving with it. It's not about making the musicians go woo. You know what I mean? It's really about feeling. You know what I mean? And it's about the flow and the fluidity of it, and communication and brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like it's really that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't about let's make the cool stuff or let's make the hard. Let's write a hard song. You know, cause we can play it. You know what I mean? Wasn't that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything known there just came out natural.
I feel like stuff like from listening to interviews with you guys, talking with Terrace and other cats, I feel like that stuff comes out when you do the show. Like
exactly.
Let's flex.
Yeah.
Show what we can do.
If you listen to a whole show, it'll come out naturally. You know what I mean? But there is no like, oh, let me prove, because all of us have proven that already.
Yeah.
There's nobody on stage where you're like, I wonder if, you know what I mean? Or cats already know. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about that. Once you've proven that, it's not about that anymore. It's like a cat that knows how to fight. Mike Tyson ain't got to ever throw another punch in his life. Right. He can just walk around.
We know he'll knock your ass out, though.
Exactly. 100%.
And bite the fuck out of you.
And then say something crazy.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? But you don't have to prove it. You don't have to keep walking around and be like, hey, I can fight. Hey, I can fight. Yeah. Hey, I can fight. Don't mess with me. I can fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what a lot of cats do musically. And that's all you hear when you hear music is, I can fight, I can fight, I can play, I can play, I can play, I can play. It's like, can you take a breath? Can you pause?
Right.
Can you actually play music?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Both of you guys came from, musical families or whatnot, and we've talked about this before. Terrace, you first. What is the best piece of advice that your pops gave you on creating your art?
Be you. He always taught me since young. In anything I do, he was just be an individual. Be an individual. Like don't do music for the. Like I'm not doing music to please another dude. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I'm doing music because I just love to do music. And I want to find my own individual voice. So he always just said, be an individual, because those are the people that are more remembered.
Sure.
Not saying I'm doing this to be remembered, but be an individual.
What about with your mom?
I believe there was a quote that said, winners forget they're in a race, they just love to run.
Oh, God.
That was hard.
Super extra on that one.
It was hard.
Super extra on that one. So, Glasper, what's obviously this is coming out. You're always working. Both of y'all super prolific, so you've been working on drones. You put it all over social media all the time. What can people expect from that when you think you'll be done and get it out?
I'm almost done with it, and people could expect just definitely nothing. Everything I do is always different, completely different than the last. So I'm just turning another page, with a lot of the same crew, with a lot of new people, just different things.
Is Herb on something?
Yeah. My keyboard roster for this album is crazy. Okay. Like I got all my favorite players.
That's dope.
Robert, Greg Kirsten. You know Greg Kirsten?
You've told me about.
Greg Kirsten. Friend Herbie. Different things.
That's the beauty of streaming services. Damn near every artist that I will look at the liner notes that plays on something, I'll be like, let me see if they got something. Then I go listen to that. Let me see if they got something. Yeah. And it just turns into a dope ass playlist of all these artists that I had never heard of previous to that.
Right.
What about you? Anything? What's next for you, man?
I have this other group called August Green. Myself, Common.
Performing in One Music Fest.
Yes, performing in One Music Fest.
Shout out to Jay Carter, Motown, Cynthia, everybody put together.
Yeah, it's myself, Common, and Kareem Riggins. Yeah. And we put that album out in March. So it's out now on all platforms. It was on Amazon exclusively. It was an Amazon exclusive album. Right. But it came out on all platforms in the middle of May. So it's out there now. And I'm just producing, doing some film scoring and producing some other artists, and but this is my baby right now.
I see, man. This is dope. Will there be a tour?
Yes, we're going on tour at the end of this month for about a month and some change. We're going over to Europe.
Nice.
And the whole month of July we'll be in Europe, hitting the festivals and stuff. So.
Okay, fancy.
Yeah, indeed.
Man, I
just living. It's just living.
Whatever, man.
It's just living.
Just living right here.
was just living.
I like that.
It's just living.
That's good.
This is what I had. And I wish that Taylor could have came. Any crazy ass Bobby McFerrin stories that he's told y'all?
No, but that's a good question to ask him. I've never asked him that.
Yeah, please. I want to know for sure. Most definitely. It's super random. That'd be personal shit that I would love to know.
Exactly.
Definitely, man. We appreciate y'all listening. Appreciate y'all watching. Please tell them where they can find the album and where they can follow y'all on social.
You can find the album everywhere.
Gotcha.
On Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere, right? All that, anywhere, everywhere.
Gotcha.
At Walmart, if you go to the jazz section. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
I was finna say. They still sell CDs at Walmart.
That's dope.
You can go to 7-Eleven in the chip aisle next to the spicy Doritos. They got the album there.
Next to the bananas at the check stand.
Exactly. But the album's out today. So
R+R.
R+R equals now.
And
R+R.
R+R.
Dude, okay.
It's easier to say R&R though.
I know. So easy to say R+R.
Yeah, I'll be saying R&R too. Because R&R is a thing. R&R. But that means rest and relaxation.
Yeah, it
Right.
does. And this is not rest and relaxation.
No.
Not at all. And what's the social media for the project?
It's at R+R equals now, right?
Reflect, respond now.
At Reflect Respond Now.
That's a lot of words.
I know. But I think if you type in R+R, it comes up. It'll come up.
Alright.
Man,
if you
find
type in
that shit
at
hey,
R+R.
You gotta be a old motherfucker that ain't got an iPhone or something not to just figure this shit out. All my kids got iPads and iPhones.
You want people that have Obama phones and Blackberries to still listen to their music.
Y'all find that shit. Stream that shit. Ask your aunties, your mama. We ain't gonna give up all that information. Go Google the fucking album. If you love it, fuck with us, and we fuck with y'all.
Boom.
Come on, Brandon. Come on.
This is spoken like somebody who already got Grammys and hits and shit, man.
No,
y'all sit there. R+R equals now. Make sure y'all stream it. Make sure y'all buy it.
Do
all
it.
that y'all support. Go on the Vivo channel.
If they listen to this podcast, they got smartphones.
This is true.
Bro, listen.
That's the platform.
My children, I see my kids every day, and it's iPad. They say, "Dad, your laptop is old."
Exactly.
And TV is over.
Exactly.
Like I'm being some real shit. Fuck all this. Well, you don't even gotta explain. They already know. They already know where the fuck your daddy live. Like it's just a different time. These phones, we don't even gotta explain that much. We just gotta talk, and they gonna find it. Because if I say some crazy fucked up shit on here, they really gonna find it. So I know they can find every fucking thing else.
We need the views. Say some crazy fucked up shit, man.
God damn it. So y'all find that shit and we fuck with the people and whoever get offended, fuck you, because all my people that know what's up, they know what I'm talking about, that grew up how I grew up and that understand what I'm understanding. You undig me? So we're gonna keep going and we're gonna keep
LA
going.
Terrace.
There we go.
Love will see the world.
He let the braids out that LA come out. Let's see that.
The Instagram is at Terrace Martin.
Yo.
And the other Robert's Instagram is at Robert Glasper. And you can find enjoyment. Thank you for supporting our project.
Bro,
and we love
That's the
you.
peace did it have.
If
right
you were
there.
listening today, what's today, the 15th, June 15, 2018, and you're in Atlanta, please buy your tickets. Variety Playhouse show, 7:30 and 10:30. I will be there at one of the shows for sure. It's going to be a great
I'm
time.
gonna buy y'all an ounce of trail mix next time I come to this motherfucker.
That's right. You got no trail mix. Everybody knows if you have a podcast, trail mix should be here.
Trail mix on some M&M's, man.
This is not NPR.
You know what I mean?
I ain't got cereal.
What kind of cereal you have? What kind of cereal you have?
Frosted Flakes.
You got a whole bunch.
Yo,
What in the hell is that?
Oh, what is that?
dude, y'all do not want to hear this.
Pancake
You're not
crunch.
going to be on the
Yeah,
podcast.
let me see that. Hold
What's
on.
the cereal? What is this?
Blueberry pancake crunch?
Oh God.
Is that
Add
new?
sprinkles on that joint.
Is that new?
Yeah, it's exclusive.
Herb is from New York, so he still buys his cereal from the bodega, even though
I've
we're
seen
in Atlanta now.
Damn.
It is what it is. Yo, we appreciate y'all,
Thank you
man.
for having us, bro.
Of
Yeah,
course,
my bro.
man. Thank you, love,
You
bro.
always look out, bro. You always look out.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir. Boom.
And you had Big U on the. I got okay.
I almost,
Yeah,
wore, my,
we
I
had-
almost wore my Rockets jersey. I ain't gonna lie. I almost wore it. I almost
Sorry
wore
we
it.
have to do that.
I know. I know.
It's all good,
I
man.
know.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yo, we appreciate y'all listening. Make sure y'all subscribe, rate, and review. It helps 1,000%. We'll see y'all next week with another dope show. We'll see y'all next week with writer extraordinaire, producer extraordinaire, Pooh Bear. Dope episode. Peace.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Oh, it's your birthday?
No,
No,
that's what Pooh
that's
Bear
what
said.
Pooh Bear always says.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what Pooh Bear said. That's his greeting. It's happy birthday.
Oh, he says that. Sorry, my hip hop knowledge is not like y'all's. I don't know. Does he write rhymes? I don't know.